next one for us is Latin America, James. So I've been discussing about this. I think we touched a word on those a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. So Latin America is next. The team are working hard to get connected to the different mobile network operator. We've connected with some large groups, Claro, Vivo, Telefonica, and so forth. So we're progressing in terms of discussion with them. So we might see LATAM hitting our pipeline sooner than later.
Welcome back, everybody. Francis Létourneau joins me now, CEO of Nuran Wireless Inc. Francis, welcome back.
Good afternoon, James. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing in this frosty weather?
Pretty cold out there. So I'll stay inside working on our business, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Francis, last week, January 6th, your company announced that you had signed an agreement for a $15 million senior credit facility for financing for the Cameroon and DRC projects. Now, so that suggests to me that you've got all the money you need to build everything you plan to on a loan basis. So tell us about the agreement and what that really means in terms of the value for the shareholders in Nuran.
Wow, this we can talk forever about these couple of topics. So actually, the cool thing about that is that the 30 million package financing that we're talking about, there's 15 covered already, but we wouldn't announce 15 million if it was not that almost all of it is secured. So we will follow on with other announcement on that regards. The other thing is that most of it will be done through debt. There might be an equity stake in there, but the equity will come at the African holding level. I'll tell you more about that in a few seconds. But it could come as well with the debt package because we are talking to a third player that might come as debt in a junior position compared to the first two. So bottom line, the announcement is quite the catalyst for the company. It just ticks all boxes of the company. Contracts, execution, financing, execution, revenue. So this is what the company is all about. Now talking about the raising potential equity at the Nuran African level, compared to a publicly listed company, when you are in a in the private domain, you value your company differently. And just based on the current projection of revenue of DRC and Cameroon only, we are above $100 million company valuation just for these two contracts. So if you take these two and you bring an equity player, for example, and if your company is valued at 100K, let's just take 100K as an example, it's a little bit more than that. If you bring 10 million worth of equity in the African holdco, it means 10% of the company. Whereas if you bring 10 million as public equity in Canada, it will be way more than that because we're currently trading with a market valuation at $44 million. So you see that the impact of a bigger raise in the African holdco has a lesser impact on the dilution. And the type of players with whom we are talking to are really global development-oriented type fund. So the equity player, if equity player is, because we have we have 21 people or 21 organizations with whom we are discussing for future debt as well as equity on that one. But when they bring that equity, it will be for lesser valuation compared to this. And we would like to probably bring a little bit more to ignite the South Sudan, ignite all the upcoming ones. So we want to be able to kickstart the project while we are completing all the financing. So sorry to make it a long explanation or a long answer to your question, but I think it deserves more thought. And actually, we'll be coming with a little bit more corporate updates and everything on those aspects, which are extremely important.
Sure. So then Nuran today at current prices has a market cap of 44 million-ish, give or take. and you've got your subsidiaries with the valuation in total using discounted cash flow methodologies of 130 million-ish. And so that strikes me as, with full disclosure and caveated with the idea that we are in the service of Nuran Wireless to communicate these things, and we stand to profit if the share price goes up. I just feel I want to throw that in there to stay on the right side of white with the regulators. But that strikes me as rather an opportunity for investors, because at some point the valuation of the public company is going to catch up to the valuations of its subsidiaries, especially once the revenue starts to flow according to the projections.
Exact. Of course, you might see a big ramp up there. At some point, is our valuation today to the level it should be? The answer is no, but yes, sometimes it will match up and go up, because we're not including South Sudan in the current $100+ million valuation I told you about, and we will be adding more of those contracts moving forward. So bottom line, we are extremely well positioned. We're executing. We will tick all boxes of ENG's investment as well. So you touched a few points about this earlier in published documentation you've done. So we are starting our ESG rating process. So that might bring additional investors. So bottom line, we're on the verge of creating something big with Nuran for our shareholders, James.
Sure. Let's talk about the ESG aspect for a minute. So environmental, social, governance are the three letters of the anagram there. Tell me about each of those sections of an ESG investment that Nuran complies with.
Yeah, so for first environmental, we run on green energy, so solar panel, batteries, all green, carbon footprint, really low carbon footprint energy. We tied it up to the orange objective of lowest carbon footprint. Social, it's all about the social aspect, what we're doing. So we're bringing connectivity for inhabitants for the first time, allowing them to be part of the global economy, be connected to the rest of the world, having access to e-health, e-finance, everything. So this is a major impact that we're having. Governance, of course, anti-bribery, anti-corruption, anti-everything. We comply to everything. And every single contract we have with those oranges or MTN, there's a specific aspect about this. So we tick all boxes according to the discussion we've been having with the different consultants. It should be pretty easy to get a pretty high rating in terms of ESG. And this is highly demanded by the development banks with whom we are talking to at this stage. So we have to have our ESG rating extremely soon there.
Right. So then that's great. So what are the next steps for Nuran in Africa, and what other opportunities are you developing outside of Africa?
So for Africa, of course, it will be execution. We will complete the financing for the 30 million. That could pave the way to have 1,000 sites built in Cameroon and DRC. Just the cash that will be generated from those operations could lead us to complete the build of the 2,000 site of DRC. But because we want to go faster, we will probably bring some more debt in the equation just to run faster and to get more revenue in faster, because the appetite from a development bank's perspective is there. People wants to see us deploying and connecting Africa way faster than what it is. But this is Africa. The next one for us is Latin America, James. So I've been discussing about this. I think we touched a word on those a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. So Latin America is next. The team are working hard to get connected to the different mobile network operator. We would like to go because it was all about 3G and 4G for Latin America. Still 2G would be basic service, but we need to bring 3G in the equation. So it was FutureCom a couple of months ago. We've connected with some large groups, Claro, Vivo, Telefonica, and so forth. So we're progressing in terms of discussion with them. So we might see LATAM hitting our pipeline sooner than later. We were expecting LATAM for 2023. Now I think that we could probably aim to get something to sign probably in 2022. So fingers crossed on this time. But this is prospective, as you know. So this is next on our list, and of course, deploying, seeing the revenue. And talking about revenue, James, I was just running reports, and we will be reporting on that this week. But the 30 plus site that we have ongoing in Cameroon are doing extremely well. You know that part of the 10-year contract, we have a couple of years where we charge a minimum guaranteed amount. And in our financial model, we were expecting that minimum guaranteed amount for the first few quarters, from 6 to 8 quarters, to have only the minimum guaranteed amount. We have 15 that are overachieving on those numbers. So we will be billing more than the minimum guaranteed amount at this stage. And all of that with a above 35, 36% penetration rate. So we are achieving extremely good numbers in Cameroon. The team is working well on the ground. They're connecting site after site. So this morning we have connected our 34th site, and I think there's 3 probably lined up for today. Going for 37. So everything looks promising from a Cameroonese point of view. DRC, we will get those numbers coming soon. So we will see if we are achieving as good as Cameroon. But just based on what I'm seeing, we might be in a really different position than what we thought of at the beginning when we were thinking about $20,000 per site per year. For Cameroon, we're way above that in terms of projected revenue, just based on the first 3 months of usage, which is great achievement. Our CFO, Jim Bailey, is quite happy because due to the gross margin and EBITDA, it will be a cash generating business.
All right, perfect. Well, that's a great update. Thank you very much, Francis. We'll come back to you in due course. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye for now.